Hey, friends! Welcome to the Swing My Heart podcast. Come join me, your host, Nicole, for some hope-filled conversations about heartfelt entertainment that makes your heart swing. Hey, Postables! Welcome back to the Swing My Heart podcast for part 2 of Alex and I's review of Signed, Sealed, Delivered, A Tale of Three Letters. Picking up with Rita and Norman. They had some great scenes in this movie.
Oh, they definitely did. I love the whole storyline of Rita and Norman with the adoption of the baby. Because honestly, Nicole, when I watched Vows,
Mm-hmm.
the last movie before this one, I
Mm-hmm.
was really curious to find out if they were really going to go through it, like trying to adopt Charlie's baby, Eleanor, and if that was actually going to go somewhere or not. But I
Yeah.
really liked the way that Martha wrote their storyline out for this movie with the adoption of their own baby. I thought
Yeah.
that was really sweet.
Yes, and we will talk about that beautiful scene at
Mm-hmm.
the end. We hear that things are going well with Charlie and Eleanor living in their basement.
Mm-hmm.
And, Shane wants to know if that's weird with them living in their basement, which, of course, Rita says that it's not, and how she and her parents always took people in when she was growing up, which I thought
Mm-hmm.
that was nice to hear.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
Cool. Yeah. They are continuing to help Charlie with her single motherhood, and Norman is completely on board.
I thought that was so cute of Norman because I think
Yeah.
him helping Charlie with Eleanor and made him feel like an actual dad himself, even though that wasn't his baby. But no, it was very sweet how hands on he was, like always like wanting to help out all the time with her. It was very, very,
Yes.
very sweet of Norman.
Yeah. And we see that almost right away when they are at Ramon's new restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie comes in and he offers to watch her so that Charlie can relax a little bit. And
Yeah.
I love when he imitates the reverse alert of a car. He's like, beep, beep, beep.
Oh, it's so funny that scene.
Yes. And can we talk about how precious Eleanor is? That baby is adorable.
So adorable. And I love that they named the baby Eleanor too, because of the woman who had passed. But it makes me think of my grandmother because my grandmother was named Eleanor, and
Aw.
the second my aunt heard that the baby was named Eleanor, we started crying. Me and her in the last movie because it
Aw.
made us think of my grandma. So that was really cute.
That's really sweet. When Rita is talking to Joe at the restaurant, she's saying that there's a lot of paperwork to fill out to start looking for a baby, and helping with Eleanor takes a lot of time, especially Norman's. And then it cuts to Norman rocking Eleanor, which is so
Cute.
And of course, this is because Joe was asking how things were going with the adoption.
Yes.
Joe is such a good dad.
I know he is. He's always so thoughtful. He's like always thinking
Yeah.
of other people.
Yes.
So he's always
Yeah.
sweet.
And such a good friend to Rita and Norman as well.
I agree.
At Ramon's restaurant with Shane and Oliver, the people with the adoption company want them to find a registered family therapist to
hmm
attest to their fitness as parents. All the names suggested are on the other side of town, which of course they don't want to do, especially Norman, because he isn't comfortable being that far away from home in case Eleanor needs something, which is
hmm
understandable. I mean,
Right.
you don't have to drive all the way across town.
Right.
Yeah,
No. Yeah, I get that.
yeah. Norman has a cousin, and I love how Oliver says Norman and his myriad cousins, which is another foreshadowing to the talk about Miriam.
Yes. Yes. Shane and Oliver. Yes.
Calliope Callis, who is a family counselor in town, and Norman's cousin, is who they decide to see. And
Mm-hmm.
she is really flexible with hours. They haven't seen her in 5 years since she played Santa Claus at the office Christmas party and came down the pneumatic tube in the terminal end. Can
I was cracking up during this.
you imagine Calliope going down the pneumatic tube?
No, I can't. That would be a sight to be seen, definitely.
Yes, that would be funny.
That would be hilarious.
Yes. We soon find out that Rita and Norman exemplify the highest parental standards and are recommended for adoptive parents. This was such
I
a
was so
good,
happy.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Oliver's excitement for the two of them when he's
Mm-hmm.
reading the
Yes.
paper.
So sweet. He's always excited for them.
Yes. And Norman says that helping take care of Eleanor probably contributed, and Rita's like, of course, darling.
Yes, she goes, absolutely, darling.
Darling. That was so cute.
Very cute.
They are so cute.
I know. I
I
love
felt
them.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
Another cute scene with them was when they are at home at their house with Shane and Oliver, and Charlie has just gone to take care of Eleanor. Calliope helped Norman see that focusing on Eleanor was getting in the way of focusing on starting his own family with Rita.
Mm-hmm.
And before we move on, may I just say what we saw of the inside of Rita and Norman's house was beautiful.
Yes, it was so cute. Like the little
Um,
couch and the little like table and chairs. Yeah, it was very, very like homey. Very homey
yes.
looking with the up.
Yep. And I loved how they had a picture on the table behind the sofa from To the Altar, the toast.
Yes. I love that. Yeah, I love that they added like those little touches in this movie
Yeah.
too from like previous movies. I thought that was
Yes. Yeah.
very cute.
After Shane and Oliver meet with Maria, they inform Rita and Norman there is a little girl being born in a few months who need parents.
Mm.
The couple that had planned on adopting her backed out at the last minute, and we will talk about that reason and just
Mm-hmm.
but I loved seeing their excitement for Rita and Norman.
Mm-hmm.
That
Even like
was
Charlie, yeah, Charlie too. Like they were also so excited for that,
yes,
and like even the reactions on their faces on Norman and Maria's face. I honestly, I think I started tearing at that scene. I was
I did too. Yeah, that's so sweet. Yeah, and this is what Shane and Oliver have a violent agreement on.
like, one of my favorite lines from Oliver throughout the whole film.
Yep, same.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
Just how he says it in general, it's great.
Yep. Mm-hmm. They meet with Maria, Rita, and Norman, and they mention that they have great, really happy friends that can write a recommendation when they're even happier.
And her enthusiasm in that scene, we're even happier friends.
Yes, loved that. Crystal
Yes.
delivered that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Maria says if the mother approves the application, they could be cleared the following week, which that is pretty fast.
Yeah, that's quick. Yep. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
fast to do that.
Yeah. But very exciting for them that this is finally working out.
Mm-hmm.
Having
Right, because they wanted to adopt the baby for so long. If we think back to the road less travel and they have that conversation, Rita and
on the
Norman,
bridge.
about on the bridge about adopting their own
Yeah.
child. I'm like, it's finally happening for them.
Yes. One of my favorite Rita and Norman scenes in the canon
Oh yeah, mine
is
too.
that one from the road less
Yes.
traveled. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this next one, I think,
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely up there for me
is
too.
definitely up there now too. When they are with Shane and Oliver at the restaurant and tears every
Oh, another scene that made me cry. Yep. Even Oliver and Shane's reaction. Like Kristen did like such even me and my aunt were watching that scene, Nicole, she goes, oh my gosh, she goes, Kristen is such a good actress. She's like, she's really crying. I said, I know, they're all good. But yeah, it was definitely an emotional
Yeah.
for
The
sure.
baby has a congenital heart condition, which is why a family couldn't be found. Oh,
Mm, it just
that's
so
heart-wrenching.
sad. Yeah, and heartbreaking. Yeah.
I mean, I
Because like
know
you said,
it's a lot, but
right. Yeah, that's a lot to take on for somebody, but well, if
you,
you think you're capable to do it,
yeah.
you should do it. If you're the right couple, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah. To be in NICU for a few weeks before they'd even get to take her home. She'll probably
Mhm.
need surgery at some point, and they don't want to say no, but keep asking themselves if they have what it takes to help her. There's someone in my family who has a congenital heart condition, I believe,
Aw.
very
Mm.
young, and she's
Mm.
already had multiple surgeries. She is
Yeah.
a fighter.
Aw.
She's so precious.
Aw. Yeah. When you have that type of a heart defect, that's what happens. They
Mhm.
have to like do all the surgeries and stuff. I know it's like it's so hard to watch because like when even like when you're especially like when you're little too, like you don't know what can happen. That's like really scary. Just like the unknown of
Yeah,
that situation is scary.
yeah. I appreciate the way that this story was done. So
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah,
And if you look at that little girl, you never know.
I know, right? Aw.
You would
Mm.
never know that she's
Oh,
had.
that's so sweet though.
But this is the line that got me the most when Oliver says, "Are you worried you're adopting the wrong baby or that she's getting the wrong parents?"
Mm.
We can't imagine anyone better than the two of you to breathe love into a child every day of her life.
I know that makes me so. Oh god, I know that scene when I watched it like the first couple of times, it made me tear up. I'm like, why is everyone in this show so talented? Like seriously, like why is everybody so good at their
Because
job?
they are.
I know. That's the greatest part of the show. Like, but yeah, that scene was just even how he said that Oliver and how ooh, it got me.
Tears every time, a
Yeah.
bucket of tears.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful. Showing the ultrasound and Norman's excitement. You can see her little tiny nose. It's right there on her face.
Her face. Yeah, and then when Kristen started crying and looking at the sonogram photo, I'm like, great, here I'm gonna cry more now.
Hmm.
Woo! Definitely one of the most emotional scenes in the entire movie.
Yeah. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
most beautiful too.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick just a few favorite scenes from this movie, this would be one of them.
I agree. Me too.
But so many amazing moments in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love when they're like, we're having a baby. We're having a baby.
Even to see Norman like tear up because we're not usually seeing him
Yeah.
like emotional at all,
Yeah.
and that's not that I can honestly remember right
Yeah.
now seeing him like tear up like that. It was like wow, it got
Yes.
me.
So sweet. I can't wait to
That
see
was
Rita and Norman become parents.
I know I'm so excited. We've been waiting till for like to see them become parents for so long now after watching all these movies and it's finally happening. I'm like yay.
Yes, they're going to be such sweet parents to that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
But what a wonderful journey it's been for Rita and Norman since the very beginning, and I can't wait to see it continue.
Yes, me too. In the next movie.
And back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And moving on to our other favorite couple, Shane and Oliver. They had some wonderful scenes in this movie as well.
Yes, we got to see, like I said, the whole movie. It, like I said, it was the letter story. It was Norman and Rita, but it was really a lot of the scenes were based on those two, and I love that we had so much focus on them in this movie. I
Yeah,
knew Eric and Kristen were going to bring it. They always bring it.
they always do. Yeah.
They don't. They never like. You give them anything, those two, and it's going to be phenomenal. So, and that's exactly what happened in this movie, and I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah. Very Shane and Oliver centric is what Kristen
Mm-hmm.
said in my interview with her, which it
Mm-hmm.
was.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
To start off, why don't we just talk about those amazing honeymoon scenes, which I wish were longer. Don't
Me
get me
too.
wrong, I'm grateful for what we did get, and it's
Yes.
understandable because of commercials, but
Hmm.
it would have been nice to see just a little bit more. Yeah,
We definitely think the same about this, Nicole, but I agree. Yeah.
yeah.
They definitely should have been a little, and the kissing scene should have been a little bit longer.
Um,
But
I need some ice buckets over here.
Kristen said that was going to happen.
So the first thing we see is the over the threshold scene, which I am
Mhm.
so happy that we got.
I
And
was so happy we got that too. I was like, they got to add that. They cannot leave that out. That's like centric to a couple going on their honeymoon.
yes, I was so mad when they cut that from When Calls the Heart season 5.
I was just about to bring that up. You guys were robbed of that.
We were robbed, but we were not robbed with Signed, Sealed, Delivered. Thank you.
No.
Oh my goodness. But they are staying in the Stratford suite at a hotel
Hmm.
in London, of course. And I feel like the Stratford suite is a reference to Shakespeare's birthplace in Stratford upon Avon.
I didn't realize that until you like sent that to me. I didn't even
Yeah,
think of like even
I
looking that
didn't
up, but that's
either.
really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. The background music, which I love that song, by the way. I never heard it before, but it's a beautiful song.
Never
Your
heard it either.
Heart by Hal David and John, I apologize if I mispronounce the name, Kakavas.
Hmm.
And the way that the lyrics were perfectly placed was perfection.
Oh yeah. Yep, they did that on point.
When Oliver trips over Shane's shoes, the lyric is where Cinderella's magical slipper is.
Hmm.
And when he sits on the bed next to Shane with the brochures and her choosing the British Postal Museum, hold me and kiss me and show me the way to your heart.
Art, like it was spot on. Spot
Yes.
on. They did that.
Like the way to his heart is the British Postal Museum,
See?
which was brilliant.
Yes.
One of my favorite scenes, the plane ride home. Oliver talking to the fellow traveler was priceless.
I was cracking up so hard, like this poor guy, but I love what Oliver was just telling him in general, so I didn't really mind it.
Yeah. He said that they found letters retrieved from the Titanic, and the guy was like, "You mentioned that on your honeymoon last Tuesday." I just love how he's just talking his ear off.
Right,
And
exactly. The
how
guy's just trying to listen as hard as good as he can.
and Oliver calling Shane the love of his life and my love. Oh, my heart
Like,
melts.
just like the names that they called each other in this movie, I was like, oh my god. Ugh.
I love the old-fashioned pet names
Oh no, me too.
like
Yeah, the
Darling
my love, yeah,
and my
darling, and
love.
my
Yeah.
love. Yep,
So
so cute.
sweet.
So Shan and Oliver, so them. That's
Yeah.
what I loved about it too.
Yeah. I love when Oliver says, I dare say we might be one of the great postal love stories, which
I
they
love it.
are.
100% true.
Yes.
100% true.
Yes.
They're the greatest love story on Hallmark. If I had to make that statement, in
Yes.
my opinion.
Yeah. And Rita and Norman too. We can't not.
Yes.
Yeah. Oliver goes on describing their job at the DLO, and
Hmm.
the plane starts going in for the landing, and Shane wakes up and he eventually says, the threshold of our new life together, and now it begins. And that
Hmm.
is
They get
the
like,
way
oh, you're doing it to me again.
the way he held her hand
I
when
know.
she put her hand on his face was
That man loves his wife. That's all I know.
yes. But they are arriving home in Denver, and I love the background music after that kiss, which is
Hmm.
Finally Loved by Homer Greencastle. And the first line we hear is, "My only love has found me after all this time." Which was
Hmm.
so fitting and on point.
Yes, yeah. Like I said, the music they picked for those scenes were like
Yeah,
totally went with Shane and Oliver's characters,
yes,
and it was perfect for the movie.
yeah. Grab the ice buckets for this scene because the morning of their first day back at the DLO, Oliver is winding the clock. Shane comes down the stairs and she says, "Good morning, Mr. O'Toole." And he calls her my love again.
Okay, I'm like, ugh.
And the flirting and the tie pull in,
Mm,
which is a callback to the proposal and to the altar.
yes, yes, it is. Yep,
So they'll understand if we're a little late.
late.
Well, I suppose I am the ranking official.
we love
Okay.
we love flirty Shane and Oliver, especially like Shane took control of that scene. She goes, "I'm gonna really manipulate my husband here," and I succeeded at it.
He doesn't mind one bit.
Nope, does not mind one bit.
He even trips over her shoes.
The shoes, I can't.
But that is another one of my favorite scenes. And then they arrive at the DLO and see Rita and Norman. Norman's mention of their honeymoon at the East Tin Cup family camp.
That was so funny. And then Rita goes, "We love the zip line."
Yep. Which the mention of their honeymoon there at East Tin Cup family camp is a callback to the pilot where they were going to possibly be transferred East Tin Cup.
Oh yes, I remember that. Now that you brought that up, yes, that was a callback.
Yep.
That was cute how they added that in there.
Yes. I love how Norman says they were in Europe. They have other languages. They could get on the wrong train or eat the wrong cheese.
Leave it up to Norman to make a scene hilarious.
Which the cheese joke was a callback to whom it may concern with I had a dream once. A dream about cheese. Cheese with
And
feet.
feet. One of my favorite Norman lines of all time, too.
One of the most comedic Norman lines, definitely. Shane and Oliver saw the medieval collection at the British Postal Museum, which put him in mind of one in Denver, which I loved that they did that. And
Mm-hmm.
we hear that they rode in the hot air balloon over Stockholm, which is a callback to Lost Without You,
Yes, yes,
because
yep,
on Shane's bucket list was a balloon ride over Stockholm.
yep.
Sipping champagne with my new husband.
Mm. I was
That
so
was
giddy there in
adorable.
that scene.
Yeah. The head on the shoulder was precious.
Yeah,
They are still working on her going by Miss McInerney.
I was shocked by that. I did
Yeah.
not think he was going to call her Miss McInerney. I thought he was going to call her Mrs. O'Toole. I was very surprised.
Yeah.
Very surprised.
I would love to hear Mrs. O'Toole more in the next movie.
Yes, me
Really
too. I
well.
really hope he starts calling her that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not opposed to Miss McInerney. I mean,
No, right? Like we're so
because
used to it.
Shane
It's like a
loves when he gets all Miss McInerney on her.
right. It's a symbol of the show, so it's like
Yeah.
weird to not have it in there.
But either way,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind. So, can we just talk about that Oliver and Ramon scene? We only saw him like once in this movie.
I know. I was like, no, I want to see Ramon more. It was only that one scene when he called him Olivier. I always crack up.
Cavalier. Yeah. We need more of Zach Santiago in the next movie.
Yes, I hope he's in it more in the next
Yeah.
one too.
Yes. But they gave him a book about recovered mail from the Titanic. His great uncle got lost on the way to the Titanic. Unfortunate mishap. I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely.
Marriage is like a salad bar, Avalier. A great one brings you back again and again. You appreciate all it has to offer.
Yeah.
Ramon with the wise words. He always has
Yes.
great advice.
The clever words of Ramon.
Yes. Love is like dancing. Don't look down. That's another one of my favorites from One in a Million.
Yeah.
The conversation before bed. Oliver is reading a book on museums of Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Shane wants to expand the closet. And, of course, she gives this suggestion to Oliver, and she also wants to open the window, and he's saying that everything has to be approved by a committee.
I was like if my husband had lived in a house that had everything had to be approved by a committee, I don't think it would go so over well with me.
Because it's a historical home, and
Right. It's a historical landmark. Yep.
which is understandable. And
Mm-hmm.
another comedic line delivered perfectly by Kristen. It only opens by committee.
Another one of my favorite Shane lines in the movie too.
Yes.
Just how she delivered it.
I loved the wedding photos on their nightstand. That was so sweet.
That was really, really cute.
Yeah. And their matching pajamas.
Oh, the blue and red pajamas.
Yeah.
Like you said, the postal colored pajamas were
Yes.
very cute.
Feels bad about losing the letter to Maria. And Oliver says, I have every confidence that we will get another chance to do the right thing. Trust the timing.
Mm-hmm. And they share that kiss.
Yes. One of my favorite quotes, and such a good life lesson, too. Trust the timing.
Yes. That's definitely one of my favorite Oliver quotes throughout the whole show, too, if I had to pick one.
Yep, one of mine, too. 6 months later, they are getting ready to go back to work. The wedding dress is gathering dust. It's still everywhere. And I love when Shane comes down the stairs in her slippers and she's looking for the other shoe, and he says, I'm sure it's here. There are none left upstairs.
Yeah, he says it to her like passive aggressively. He goes, "Oh, they gotta be here because there's none upstairs, so it's gotta be somewhere."
And then I loved the scene with Oliver and Norman when he gives him advice about marriage. The people
Yes.
have become the teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because throughout this whole show, everybody knows like Rita and Norman always used to go to Shane and Oliver for advice. In this episode, they completely flipped it.
Yes.
And I thought that was so great how they did that, to see it from the other side of Shane and Oliver. But then Norman and Rita had more knowledge like on that standpoint. But I really enjoyed that they did that. That Martha wrote that in the way that she did.
I do too. Working out the little things, teamwork, compromise, waking up every morning and thinking, what can I do to make her happy today?
Mm-hmm.
Shane mentions she wants to go home and take a nap. First clue!
Clue number one, yes.
Clue number one, I've never been pregnant, but
yes.
Common sense.
Yeah.
I was like,
I knew way before. I just had that feeling.
Yeah. Can we just talk about when they get home, when she goes to take her nap? Shane accidentally hitting Oliver with her shoe will never not be funny.
That scene, I just laugh at it so hard. It's so hilarious. Just him just flinging the shoe she did on accident, just like looking at it. Oh my god, it was so funny. It was so hilarious. Like, because I knew at that point, like, the shoes were driving him nuts all over the floor, and the wedding dress was driving him nuts, just sitting there collecting dust, and that's why I found it even more hilarious.
And she can't get comfortable in bed, and she breaks the grandfather clock crank trying to open the window because I guess she's hot. And I'm like, Shane, why don't you take off your jacket if you're hot?
I know. I was like that. I was confused too. I'm like, why are you laying in bed with a blazer on? I was very confused.
But that was clue number 2.
Right. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. And of course, Oliver took her wedding dress to Fred's Swifty Cleaners instead of Cherry Creek Professional Fabric Preservation.
This scene too. Oh, they acted this
Okay.
out so well. Kristen did such a good job, and so
And
did
Eric
Eric.
too, yeah.
They both did. They both did. It was so good.
Okay, I know Oliver was just trying to help and it was very sweet, but he should have asked her.
Yeah, I agree. I was just about to say that. Yeah, he should have asked her where she would want the dress to go before
Yeah,
just bringing it to
yes.
Fred's Swifty Cleaners. But I got the part that got me too was when he said Fred actually told me he always wanted to work with real lace. I'm like, the wedding dress wasn't lace; it was satin. Like that. I'm like, this isn't a good sign.
I love when Oliver says, "What can I do to relieve my dear wife of the burden of such a mundane errand?" This is where I can understand, he just wants to be thoughtful and help her out,
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
he should have talked to her first.
Oh yes, 100%. But just Shane's reaction in that scene.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I've been making decisions my whole life, darling, just not in historical landmarks.
Landmarks.
That darling did not sound so loving as the other
No,
two.
it did not. And then when she told him, "Oh no, I'll meet you there."
I'll meet you there. Yep.
So funny.
Yes, they played that to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shane goes to the timepiece revival shop, and
Mm-hmm.
the man that works there, Arthur, says first 3 months before it'll be done,
That's
then
insane.
6 weeks.
But seriously though, how much time does it take to fix a crank? Does it honestly take that long? I don't think it does. I think they were exaggerating a little bit.
And then 3 weeks until he eventually mentions he'll try to have it fixed in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
After she's like, my marriage is riding on this.
New husband, new family heirloom.
Yep. Rita and Norman invite Shane and Oliver for dinner, but they have a date with a pasta maker that was given as a wedding gift from Hazel, if they can find it. And the Shane snark in this scene. But
It turns.
giving lots of gifts.
Yes. Friends giving lots of gifts. Just like the way she delivered that. Like I said, Kristen Blinds in this film were so she delivered them. She
The
delivered
way
them. That
she just picked up her jacket. She's like, lots of friends giving lots of gifts. And
and
Rita
then
and
read it.
Norman is
You're like,
like,
that's not good.
okay. And then Fred's Swifty Cleaners burned to the ground, along with
Mm-hmm.
her wedding dress.
Oh my god, I felt so bad. I'm like, not the wedding dress. Not the wedding dress.
Oliver's like, oh crud, I am toast.
Yes.
I am
Yep.
in so much trouble.
Right? He backed himself into a corner with that one.
Yeah. But luckily, the actual wedding dress is not burned because it is with a fellow postable from Rolling
Right.
Drama.
Yes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. They do say they're sorry. And of course, that's Oliver for the wedding dress getting burned and Shane for breaking the crank.
Mm-hmm. I
And
also have to add that little callback they did there with Oliver's meal that he likes
yes,
when
yep,
he gets angry, the ingredient cleanse with the red wine. I was
on,
like, that was cute how they added it in there.
yes. And he says he's not hungry.
Mm.
I will say, even though, I love the scenes like this when they are, back and forth at each other,
Yeah,
it is hard to see them at odds.
I know because like we're
Yeah.
so used to not seeing them at odds. In this movie, they were at odds majority of the time, so it was like kind of hard to like see that. But I thought they did such
Yeah.
a fantastic job at executing those scenes too, and it was honestly a lot of fun to see, though. It's seeing them play off each other that way, and yeah.
Of course, I love the flirty romantic scenes, but
Mm.
the scenes when they are back and forth with each other are always great too. So
Right. Yeah. I love that they showed Oliver and Shane like going back and forth with
yes.
each other because I thought that was very realistic
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
do too. Because not everything in the relationship is going to be like rainbows and butterflies. They
Yeah.
have to have some sort of conflict, and I love that they brought conflict into
Yeah.
this movie, and we got to see them work through the conflict.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure marriage is wonderful and it has highs and of course lows too. And I think that she did a great job.
Yeah, she did. Yeah,
Like,
I like even when Kristen said that in the interview with you when you interviewed her, and she goes, everyone like sees this picture on social media how
mhm,
everything's perfect. Behind the scenes, that's
it's
really
not,
not true at all, and she's 100% correct.
it's not
Yep.
always perfect. Yeah. But that's
Nope.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
If your love is strong enough, you can make it through.
Yep.
Which for
Mm-hmm.
these two, it is. And let's just get to that DLO scene. Shane and Rita's talk. My wedding dress is dead.
Is dead.
And she's
And her just pouring the sugar into the cup. But I love what Rita told her too, and she asked her, she goes,
did you
Shane was
forgive
telling her, we said we were sorry, and Rita goes, but did you forgive each other? Because saying you're sorry and forgiving each other are two different
two different
things.
things? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Yeah. And then Oliver and Norman talk, and Oliver says, I'm not sure what I'll do if I let the family clock run down after all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Worst that can happen. And question, why do you think Oliver felt that way about the clock?
I felt that way because it was in his family for so long.
Yeah.
And like when something's like in your family for that long and you're always used to
Mhm.
doing it like in routine every day of your life and then like it stops, it's hard to break that routine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? That's
Yeah.
what I at least thought.
Yeah. I could see that. I agree.
Yeah.
That would be my take as well. Oliver's reaction to the non-scoops of sugar.
Another great scene. Oh my god.
Eric did a great job with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Linda Lisa mentioning that on my interview with her about the non-scoops of
Scoops of
sugar.
sugar.
And I think she said she did that in one take, like
Oh, okay.
like one shot.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
cool.
which was pretty cool to hear. We hear about the O'Toole family rocking chair, which is nearly
Mhm.
100 years old. I think that was another clue.
Oh, the rocking chair. Oh, yes, it probably was. They
I
probably
didn't
slid that in there.
I didn't pick up on it the first time I watched, but
No,
after a
I didn't
couple
either.
times I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, is that another clue?"
Right.
Because
But
I
was
think
it the clock 100 years old too, or no? It was just the chair. That's a question I
I
wanted to
think it
ask you.
is over 100
It
years.
was 100.
Yeah.
Okay, I was right.
Shane's line. Good heavens. It's like I married a museum.
Right, another one of my favorite lines by her. Oh my god.
And then their fight about the grammar lesson on myriad. There are a myriad of ways that meddling in anyone's stuff can backfire.
Or just
End
turn
up
on fire.
fire.
That was the saltiest call. That was the saltiest diss I ever heard of my entire life.
Kristen did a fantastic job with
She
that.
did. And Rita and Norman knew exactly what she was talking about too in that scene.
Yep. And then, of course, she walks out.
Mm,
And this scene with Oliver and Norman.
my favorite. My new
Oh
favorite. If I
my word.
Woo, it got me.
Perfection.
Oh my god. Just Oliver just walking in the hallway, the way he was like walking through the hallway looking down, and then
That,
coming up to Norman, and then him saying and just having him having the tears in his eyes, it literally brought me back to vows when he told Shane that my wife left me, and just him thinking about that again, thinking Shane left now too. Oh my, I'm
She's
like, oh.
she's not gone. She just needs some air.
Mm, mm. I
My
love how
heart.
wise he was in that scene too, Norman.
Yes.
How wise he be, like even like you know what I'm saying? He was so wise in that scene. Just to see the growth from him in this movie too, how he like helped Oliver out in so many ways. I love that.
Me too. Yeah. Oliver in this scene broke my heart into a million pieces.
Oh my god. Yes.
But the acting, of
Mm,
course, throughout the whole movie and series is
yeah.
phenomenal. But this,
Mm. I actually think I wrote that on Twitter that night, and he replied to me,
that's
Eric. And
awesome.
I said this is has to be one of my favorite Norman and
Oliver
Oliver
Norman.
scenes now of all time. And he goes, yes. He goes, I agree. And he wrote that back to me.
Yes, that was awesome. Yeah.
It was so sweet of him.
Yes, it was. Norman says, go find her, and Oliver says, I don't know where to look.
Mm.
You go when you need to feel like yourself again. Home.
Oh. Mm.
And then he goes to where Shane is at her recent
Mm.
assault.
Oh.
And here
Mm.
I was wondering if you knew me at all.
Oh my God, Kristen, in that scene
I
made me cry. Just the emotion from Kristen in that scene got me. Ugh.
same.
She killed it. Killed it in that
They
scene.
both did.
So did Eric, yes. Because he like the tears in his eyes too. Like his eyes were like filling with water. I could see it. I was like, oh, they're gonna get me here.
But these lines, I know you're unhappy because you are, and you are because
Mm.
I am, and I don't know how we got here. Where we
Mm.
are now. Remember how it felt when we were sitting on my porch swing? Everything made sense when we were there going in the same direction.
Mm.
They were unhappy because
Right. I know. Because they were unhappy because of both of them. They saw each other unhappy, and that's what it
yeah.
was. Yeah. But I also love that callback too to the pilot because that was the callback
Yes.
to the pilot scene where Shane is walking up to the house and
Yeah.
Oliver's behind her with the coffee cups by his car. Oh, I love that
Yeah.
too.
One of my favorite scenes from the pilot.
Mm-hmm. Mine too.
Yeah. The couples therapy sessions.
Ooh.
That first one, Oliver is sitting down and Shane is pacing.
And he's like watching her.
Yep. Shane is talking about the kitchen hacks she read on Instagram. I'm afraid I don't know what an Insta hack
It's,
is.
and she goes, Instagram,
Graham,
Instagram.
Graham.
So good.
I loved that.
I love that scene too. It was funny because that's so Oliver. It's
Yes.
such an Oliver line.
Yeah. Calliope says that the daily routines they had before marriage may not necessarily work now, which, yeah, I can see that. Not
Mm-hmm. I could
everything
too.
is always the same when you get married.
Yep.
The mention of how the bed is made up. Crisply folded hospital corners, and Shane's like, we don't live in a hospital. We don't live in a college dormitory either.
Either. That was the saltiest diss I've ever heard from Oliver, but oh my God, he delivered that, executed that so brilliantly. We don't live in a college dormitory either. I was like, oh my God, I felt that. But I saw it on Shane's face too, like how that made her upset a little bit. Him saying that to her like that.
The second session, the
Mm-hmm.
first time that Shane knew they'd be together was the swing, which
Mm-hmm.
is in the garage. He keeps meaning to set it up, but hasn't found the perfect place, and she procrastinates. It's so her, and the house is so him.
Oliver's face and her face because he was so stunned when she said that. Like, this is
Mhm.
what my wife's really thinking. I didn't know she felt that way at all. And I felt that. I was like, oh, that killed me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oliver says, I share that beautiful home with, it's your house. It's not mine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Ugh. Like I said, yeah, what did she say? Yeah, she goes, it's your house. It's not mine. You share it with the historical society. I can't even I can't
there.
even move a chair.
Oh,
Ugh.
heartbreak. Calliope says, without the dress, without the crank, do you believe that you would still be married? And Shane says, of course we would. And Oliver says, I take great umbrage at your question. He says things like that because she knows him.
That was him.
Call back to the house and the DIY
Yes.
room. You and I still love you. And Calliope follows up with, the history, the habits, the quirks. Did you marry him because of all that or in spite of it? Because I love him. I love her.
I was like, oh. Also, I loved in this scene too. I love the matching outfits, with the colors, the turquoise colors. He had the turquoise tie on. She the turquoise dress, blue dress. I love that.
Yes.
I love that they coordinated that.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite dresses for Shane.
Me too.
And one of my favorite Oliver outfits as well.
Yes.
The line that got me, 10 weeks, 4 days from I love you to forever.
Once again, this man loves his wife. That's all I know.
This line.
I remember you telling me that Eric, when he read that scene, I think he said it on Twitter.
Yeah, he replied
to my really emotional. Yes, he got really emotional when he read that. Oh my God, I would too.
That just shows how much he loves Shane.
Oh my God. And I actually wrote on Twitter and Kristen liked it. I'm like, there is nobody who loves his wife more than Oliver. And she liked it. It's 100% true.
Yeah. That right there. Him knowing that detail.
Yep.
That's so sweet.
Very sweet.
Yeah. Love can make children of us all, but children must learn how to grow up, and lovers must learn how to become husbands.
That's also one of my favorite lines throughout the whole film, too. I'm like, are they trying to tell me something? A very true statement.
Yes. Yeah. The third session, Oliver shares his feelings about the clock running down and stopping. Calliope is saying how maybe now he won't expect quite so much from the clock or from himself. Him, it feels like starting over. And Jane just thought she needed to hold on to her wedding dress to remember the happiest day of her life. And Calliope says, so far. Shane's facial expression.
Yep. It gave it away.
Yep. I feel like she already had an idea at this point.
Me too. I feel like she knew too, and she just didn't want to say anything yet to anybody. Yeah. But no, I agree.
I mean, just that little.
Like she was sitting there and she was thinking about something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure she had a good idea already at that point. Calliope wants them to do something to surprise each other that leaves behind the old things and makes way for a new thing. That was another clue.
Yes, that was
a new thing.
Yep.
2 surprises to create one new vision. This is not a marriage in trouble. This is a 6-month-old marriage. The honeymoon is over, and now it's time to get down to the business of being married. The good news is that you've been friends for so long. You don't need me to save your marriage. You just needed help to get it started. The hand holding was so.
I know. I love how close they were actually sitting to each other on the couch too. In that scene, they weren't far apart anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
And I have to say, of course, I've already said this on this episode. I've never been married. I've never been in a romantic relationship, but I have to agree, friendship is the foundation for.
Yes. Yeah. Same with me too, Nicole. 100% agree. You got to be friends with somebody first and then build a romantic relationship and see where it goes, because you don't know where it's going to go. It can go, you know what I'm saying? But no, yes, friendship is the way to go.
It's always good to be friends first and then lovers. And that is one of my favorite romantic tropes, friends to lovers.
Yes, mine too.
And just an observation I loved was in the first session, Shane was wearing just the necklace from her parents, which means a lack of connection with Oliver. The second session, she was just wearing the forever necklace from Oliver. And then the third session, she was wearing both necklaces, which I took it to mean that she is melding her former life with her forever life with Oliver.
Yes, I can't believe you. I didn't even notice that until you
Yeah,
sending me like your screenshots. I was like, wow, I didn't even pay attention to that. Like, see, like the little things I missed like that, but that was very smart that you
good.
picked up on that.
Yeah. And Postables, if you have not already, go check out our friend Kaycee's blog post about
Yes.
Oliver's couple sessions because
Mm-hmm.
it is fantastic. And I
Yes.
will link that in the description of this video.
Mm-hmm.
Go read it if you haven't. Shane and Charlie and Oliver and Joe. These were brief moments, but I did really love them. You know, Charlie is asking, did you ever think you were wrong about Oliver?
Mm.
Or stopped loving him?
Loving him. Oh my
As she
god.
looks at him,
Ugh. Like goosebumps. I got the goosebumps.
my heart.
Goosebumps. Ugh. So good.
Yeah. And Joe asks Oliver about how therapy is going. And then they talk about his Dark of Night award, which
Mm.
was earned by going the extra mile through a blizzard to deliver a wedding dress.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And with the Joe and Oliver scene, I feel like Joe was, in his own way, encouraging Oliver to make things right with Shane. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes. No, I totally agree with you on that statement. Yeah, he totally was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Joe is such a good dad.
Right. Like he was saying without actually saying it.
Yes. We need more Joe in the next
Yeah, I want a couple more
two.
scenes with Joe in this movie too. But yeah, I hope he's back in more scenes and To the
Yeah.
Moon and Back. I think he will be.
Yeah. The DLO scene
Mm.
at the end of the movie, one of my favorites, in reference to matchmaking with Marlon and Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that he doesn't understand why she
Mm.
likes matchmaking, and she says, I know you and you know me. I'm a romantic and you are too, but I use laptops and you use
He's
logic.
watch it.
Playful punch on the chin was so cute.
Oh, I love that. Like I said, Nicole, this scene actually was one of the Shane Oliver scenes I wanted to happen.
Me
So I was very
too.
happy. I pictured this scene in my head.
Same. I always wanted a scene like this when they were in the DLO by themselves and he pulls her onto his lap.
Yeah, me too. And it happened. I was like, yes.
So sweet. And he says, thank you for going the extra mile. I would go just about anywhere with you.
Mm.
That was one of my favorite kisses too of the movie.
Me too. Yes.
Such a cute scene, even though it was a little brief. But
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. I was just looking at them in that scene. I'm like, these two are so in love with each other. It's so ridiculous, but I love it so much.
yes, me too. Yeah.
In the best way.
Yes. Couple goals.
Yes, 1000%.
Yes. Along with Rita and Norman too.
Yep.
Also, I noticed almost right away that the background music in that scene, I don't think the whole scene, but there's a point when it's the same as the background music from the chapel scene in The Vows We Have Made.
Yes, yes. I remember it was like yeah, it wasn't that long, but it was like a small portion of
It
the
was
scene,
just a
right?
little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Like little
he's
nod, a
talking
nice
about
nod.
Dumbarton
Mm-hmm.
Oaks.
Mm-hmm.
We see Shane pick up the repaired crank and then look over at the pharmacy. When she looked over at that pharmacy, I was like, it's real now.
I was thinking about the scene from The Office with Steve Carell, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's happening!" That was. I'm like, I kept telling him, I kept saying to myself, Nicole, if I'm right about this, I am going to flip out because I'm never this spot on about anything. I'm always usually wrong about this stuff in majority of these movies. So the fact that I was right, I was like, wow, this feels really good.
we'll talk about that, but
Yes.
I wanted to squeal aloud so much, but I couldn't because the night it premiered, my dad was working on schoolwork.
Oh, and you
I
couldn't
was
yell.
squealing internally. I was
Right,
like,
I'll make you laugh. I was like you said, I was on vacation. My dad was in the other room, so I couldn't scream either. So I was like, yeah, I was so excited.
yes. But before we get to that, let's just talk about Oliver's surprise. This scene,
The whole scene, and as it leads to the end, was I think the best part of the entire movie. The
this
best
was the
part. It made the whole movie for me.
this was the best scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You can start it at the DLO scene.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The last 8 minutes of the movie. Last 8 or 9 minutes of the
Perfection.
movie.
So that scene when Shane gets home,
Mm-hmm.
Oliver surprises her with the porch swing inside the
You know
house.
what? Right? You know what I found was funny? I'm like, how would they get the porch string through the door of the house?
They probably had to dismantle it a little bit.
Right, right. I was like, there's no way that things
Yeah.
get through the door. I was just
Yeah.
thought that was funny, but yeah,
And
that's
then put it
definitely what they did.
back together. The special mementos.
Oh, the callbacks.
Yes. The seashells he collected on the island the Christmas his grandfather died, which was a callback to the Christmas movie when he thought he would never be happy again.
Yeah.
The pen that she borrowed and wouldn't return, that she used to draw what Jazz looks like on the night they first kissed. So we see
Mm.
the pen and the napkin drawing, which
Yes, and that's a callback to Higher Ground, which
ground.
is one of my favorites.
Yes. I kept that right here for months until you came back to me.
I was like,
Bart.
really, Oliver? I was like, Oliver. I was like, I need to breathe for a minute.
She says, and that I did. We see a letter opener she gave him for his birthday, which
Mhm.
that's not a callback, but it is a
No.
callback in a way to his antique letter opener collection that we've seen since
Yes.
the beginning.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the last rose of summer, the impossible dream,
Yes.
and the green tie.
Yeah. Oh.
When I saw that green tie, I was like,
And then when he proposed to her again, and she was crying, Shane. Oh, I was like, oh.
did I marry a pack rat? This line, one of the best lines in the movie and the entire canon.
Mm-hmm.
You married a man who believes that everything you touch in his life becomes a rare and sacred thing, but it would be
Mm-hmm.
nothing if I didn't have you to share it with.
Mm. Ugh, that's one of the best Oliver lines of all time. If I had to choose one, that is up there.
That's right up there with she was the finest woman I ever knew until you.
Yes, yes, with the proposal scene. Yep, it goes hand in hand.
Yes. The State Historical Society has accepted the O'Toole Mansion as the site of the Colorado Museum of Postal History. I loved
Mm.
that.
Yeah, I love that they did that too because it should be in a
Yes.
historical society because
Yeah.
it is that type of home.
Agreed. And I hope that we see that in To the Moon and Back.
I know, me too.
The proposal, of course, with the move, which that was
Mm.
beautiful. He says,
Yep.
Shane, will you marry me all over again?
Mm. Oh,
And
Oliver. Oliver O'Toole.
then Oliver reads part of 1 Corinthians chapter 13, 4 through 6.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, love is patient and kind. Love bears all things, hopes all things, endures all things. And then he
Mm-hmm.
stops. He puts the
Yeah.
box down and puts it
Mm.
on his heart. And he says, I've always been in love with you. Always.
Always. Oh.
I thank God every day that you came into my life.
Mm.
But I realize now that having you in my life doesn't mean expecting you to change and fit into it. I'm asking you to forgive me, and I'm asking you to build a new life with me. Not
Mm-hmm.
mine, not yours, but ours.
Mm.
You'll forgive me for expecting the same thing.
Oh, that whole conversation, the whole scene is just oh, perfection, perfection, perfection from Eric and
Yeah.
Kristen. Ugh,
Yes. You are the only man that I could ever live with and truly be myself with.
that
And
I love that she told him that too. I love that she said that to him.
wherever we live, you, Oliver, are my home, and I am yours.
Mm. And then that kiss.
That
That
was the best kiss of the movie.
yes, I agree with you on that one. 100% was. Woo!
Get the ice
Man, those
bucket.
two. Yeah.
I'm so glad we got a porch scene
Yes.
in the
Me
movie.
too. Because it's so Shane and Oliver. It's like
Yes.
so their characters. It's so engraved in the show.
Mhm.
So I'm very
Yep.
happy that she included that.
Yes. And the porch swing is the inspiration behind this podcast. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
also the background music, the same as from Paris with Love and that porch scene and the proposal.
Yep. I picked up on that too. Yep.
Yep. Jane's surprise. Trust
Mm.
me, I've got this.
I love the look on her face too, and that seemed like she knew, like she had something that's gonna surprise him even more than what he did
Yep.
for her.
We'll have to find a new hiding place for this when we move into the new house. Someplace high where she can't reach it. She?
She
He.
or he.
We'll know in a few weeks, probably. Plenty of time to find a spot for that swing. It'll be like a rocking chair built for two.
Or
Actually, three.
three. I was so happy. I was like, I knew it. That was literally my reaction. I was like, I knew it. I was like, I knew she was gonna be pregnant. I knew it.
When this scene was playing out, when this moment was playing out, this was my exact reaction.
I Nicole, I was like I was like calling out the TV. I was like, I knew it. I was like, I knew she was pregnant. I said, I knew it. I called this. I literally told my aunt Nicole when we were watching Vows and the other movies, and I told her in these words, I said, I guarantee you, Shane is going to be pregnant by the end of this movie. I was like, oh my god, I was right. I was so happy. I was like, oh, my. just just her putting Oliver's hand on her stomach and then his reaction to his face was like such in shock and he's like, oh my god, he goes, really? I'm like, I'm like, God, you're making me cry here.
Oliver's
Oh,
reaction was everything.
I was like, he's gonna be a dad. I'm like, I'm so emotional. That's also another great kissing scene too. That was so
Yes,
sweet.
I loved that one too. I am so excited for them to become parents.
Oh, I have a question. What do you think they're gonna have, a girl or a boy?
That's a tough one. Because
I
I'll
think
be
boy.
happy
I
either.
think I would be too, but I think it's going to be a boy since Rita and Norman are having a girl.
That's
But I could be wrong. That's
that
just
would
my
be my
feeling.
guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just excited that we get to see them as parents.
I know. It's going to be so cute and adorable to watch.
They're going to be amazing parents.
Yes. Along with Rita and Norman, of
Yeah,
course.
of course. Yeah. Also, an interesting and amazing observation that I noticed
Mm.
thanks to Fatula on Twitter. I knew
Yes.
that number 9 had significance. I didn't know exactly what, but what
Right.
she posted was
Mm. Right.
amazing.
I knew, like, I was just honestly thinking at first, I'm like, oh, okay, it's 9 o'clock at night. But then I thought about for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. It takes one of the things that came up in my mind right away. It takes 9 months for a baby to be born into the world. And that's the first thing I thought. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, she did that so perfectly and like it was so meaningful to what was happening in the moment.
Yeah.
And like I said, Martha's so brilliant at doing that with how she writes. Everything
Yeah.
about it, I loved it.
Yeah. So the symbolic and spiritual meaning of the number 9 in the Bible, one is divine completeness or perfection. It's
Mm-hmm.
as representing the culmination or completion of a cycle, as it is the last single-digit number. This ties to the idea of divine perfection and fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
number 9 is sometimes associated with the concept of finality, judgment, and the end of an era or period.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the 9th hour is when Jesus died on the cross. Fruitfulness and the fruits of the Spirit. In the
Mm-hmm.
Bible, there are 9 fruits of the Holy Spirit listed in Galatians chapter 5, verses 22 and 23, representing the fullness and completeness of spiritual attributes, salvation and redemption. The number 9 can symbolize salvation, as it is the number of months a baby is carried in the womb before it
Mm-hmm.
is brought into the world. And then angelic and heavenly associations. The number 9 is sometimes linked to the 9 orders or choirs of angels mentioned in Christian theology. For
Mm-hmm.
me, in my opinion, I feel like it's a combination of divine completeness or perfection,
Yeah, me
fruitfulness,
too.
and fruits of the Spirit and salvation and redemption.
Mm-hmm.
A combination of those 3.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Yep.
Martha, you are amazing.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yes.
Like I said, no one can write a script like that woman can. The
Yeah.
way she writes things, and like in the just the meaningfulness of them, and just how she makes everything connect. It's just amazing how she does it.
You are a genius.
Mm-hmm.
And the master weaver.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are so happy that you are at the helm of this amazing show.
No one can write the show like she can. Absolutely nobody.
So I think that wraps up our talk on Rita and Norman and Shane and Oliver. So many
Mm-hmm.
wonderful moments
Yes.
for them.
Yeah. After the 3 year hiatus that they have, and
Yeah.
this was the movie that it came back with, they couldn't have made a better movie. Everything about it was perfection to the highest degree.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I can't
Mm-hmm.
wait for To the Moon and Back. I know that there will be a lot of amazing moments in that movie too.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see the babies.
Me too. But a fun little segment to start to wrap up the
Mm-hmm.
callbacks. Do you have any that
Yes.
you thought that we haven't already talked about?
Yes. The scene on the plane when Shane is sleeping on Oliver's shoulder
Yep.
was a callback to A Hope in a Future, and
Future.
that is one of my favorite Shane and Oliver scenes of all time too.
Yes.
I love that little small scene with them.
Yeah, I caught that one right away.
Mm-hmm.
Explaining to the guy on the plane that they comprise an elite task force with wide powers of postal discretion. The task force was created by Rebecca Starkwell in Dark of Night. So that was,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I knew that was actually going back to something too. I just couldn't think what it was going back, what movie it was in the moment. But
yes. Shoes. Shane loves her shoes. Online discount designer shoes from the
right.
heart.
Yes.
Oliver, when he mentions their gardener who was winding the clock while they were away, is visiting his mother in Grand Junction. In Grand
Mm-hmm.
Junction, I believe it's a callback to The Road Less Traveled.
Yeah.
Oliver saying his experience at the British Postal Museum put him in mind of exploring the possibilities of a postal museum in Denver. That is a
Mm-hmm.
callback to Higher Ground when he uses almost the same line at the beginning of his first date with Shane when he says, puts me in mind of a small jazz club on Pearl Street.
Oh, wow. I haven't pick up on just a few of them I picked up, but all the ones he had, they're really good.
Norman smelling the envelope, which is a callback to the author, smelling the
Yeah.
palace stationery and the vows we have made when he smelled
Mm-hmm.
the envelope from the street drain.
Yep.
Shane's salad, call back to her experimental salad and to whom it may concern. And I know for a fact that's a callback because Kristen quoted my tweet about it.
Right. That's a science experiment separated from the salad.
Yes. Oliver is wearing his higher ground suit. I think it was the second outfit.
Was he? Oh my God.
In the scene when Shane was in the white blazer.
Oh, the blue suit, the blue
Yes.
suit.
The
Oh,
blue
right. No, you're right. Wow. I didn't think of that either. Wow.
Rita and Shane walking down the street, which we also saw in the vows we have made.
That
And
one
in
I knew. That one I picked up on.
both cases, they are discussing having children.
Yes.
And I think they even say the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yep.
vows, Rita says maybe someday. This time it's Shane, maybe someday.
Someday. Yep.
That was another clue when Rita mentioned if you have a daughter.
If you have a, yeah, I feel like them insinuating that they're gonna have a girl makes me believe they're gonna have a boy. It's the opposite. I don't know
Then
why.
another callback was when Oliver at the beginning said, "Cast your dead letter upon the postal waters, and it shall be returned to you." That was a callback to One in a Million, and Shane saying, "Cast your Dark of Night award upon the waters, and it shall be returned to you."
Mm-hmm.
The mail carrier at Garfield High School, he checks the mailbox at the same time every day as Oliver did when he tells Shane about being a mail carrier. And from the
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot to mention this when we were talking about the letter story and Charlie, but part of me wonders and feels like it's possible that everything with the bomb scare at the high school caused Charlie to want to work for the dead letter office the same way that the mailbox blowing up and From the Heart caused Oliver to want to work for the dead letter office.
Probably right. Probably right with that. If I
Yeah.
had to take a guess.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Another piece of Martha's masterful weaving.
Yes.
Oliver and Shane's discussion on the use of the word myriad. This is reminiscent of Oliver's explanation of the same word to Jason in the treasure box.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
Norman says he wakes up every day wondering what he can do to make Rita happy. Of course, in his proposal, "I don't think I'll ever make you as happy as you make me, but I'm going to try every
Mm.
day for the rest of my life."
Mm-hmm.
The 9 scoops of sugar in Oliver's coffee was a callback to Lost Without You when she is putting sugar in her coffee when she's with Dale.
Yes.
Both out.
Mm-hmm.
The talk in the hallway with Norman and Oliver, of course, that's a callback to the higher ground rooftop discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Oliver says he doesn't know what to do.
Mm. Yes.
And Shane is with Steve.
Good old Steve. Thank God he's gone.
Yes. The flower shop is a callback to flower shop in the future me and into the altar that Norman and
Mm-hmm.
for their wedding. Flowers.
I can't believe there were all these callbacks. Like I picked up on the obvious ones. The other ones I just didn't even realize in the moment. But now that you're bringing it up, it's making me think. I was like, yeah, Nicole's right about all these.
Shane and Oliver's face off in the street. Of course, that's callback to From Paris with Love,
Yep.
but with a different outcome. Barry calling himself a solid citizen. That's a callback to Steve calling Oliver a solid citizen in The Impossible Dream.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That one I remember.
Yes. Oliver, when he says that everything Shane touches becomes a sacred thing, that's a callback to the vows we have made when Shane told Oliver sacred spaces have a way of turning into the lost and found.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Shane ending her sentence with a preposition from the heart when Shane tells Rita not to end the sentence with a preposition.
Opposition.
Ramon's Catalan kitchen, which that is a callback to him mentioning he once worked as an architect's assistant to Francesco Catalan, designer of urgent care facilities in Barcelona, in Val.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, I didn't catch this one. Someone else pointed it out, but a display of spoons on the wall when Joe is putting together the crib. The wind chime made of spoons.
Yeah. I didn't catch that either, but now that you bring that up, now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. Marlon's letter to Charlie when he says, I hope I live long enough to tell you that someday, face to face, the way you deserve. I think, if I'm right, this is a callback to Oliver telling Shane that he prayed for the chance to live long enough to tell her how he feels.
And
Lost
yeah,
without
and
you.
Lost Without You. Oh,
Yeah.
one of my
Pray for the
favorites.
chance to live long enough to tell you, I hope our first date isn't our last,
Mm-hmm.
etc., etc. Marlon mentioning Charlie is the only one who can read his handwriting. Bobby is the only one who can read Ellie's handwriting in the future me.
Oh yeah. All great callbacks.
Yes. We have some trivia questions
Mm-hmm.
for each other and for you postables.
Yes.
Would you like to go first?
Yes. Okay. How many letters from the Great Mailbox Breach of 2017 did Rita mention they have at the beginning of the movie? Was it A, 25 letters, B, 15 letters, C, 10 letters, or D, 30 letters?
25.
Yes, that's correct.
What was Shane and Oliver's gift to Norman from the British Postal Museum? Book of stamps from England, a sealing wax set, post box and phone box, salt and pepper shakers, a book on telephone boxes.
It was B, right? It was the
Yes,
the
sealing
book,
wax
right?
set.
Yes.
Yep.
My next question. What time did the mailman empty the mailbox at Garfield High School every day? Was it A, 11:30 a.m., B, 12:45 p.m., C, 12:05 p.m., or D, 1:15 p.m.?
1205.
Yes, correct. Ding, ding,
Hey.
ding.
What year is the craftsmanship of Oliver's grandfather clock crank? 1898, 1910, 1904, or 1892?
Probably gonna get this wrong. Was it D,
Eh,
1892?
1898.
It was 1898. See,
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't paying attention to that, so not surprised with that one.
You got to really pay attention
I know.
because it's very
Yeah,
brief. He says it
yeah.
quickly.
What is the restaurant they ordered takeout pizza from at the end of the movie? Was it A, Blue Pan Pizza, B, Protos Pizza, C, Mellow Mushroom, and D, Angelo's?
Angelo's.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
There's no way it was mellow mushroom. No. Although that is a chain and it's very good. Their
Oh,
pizza,
really?
yeah. What is Shane and Oliver's zip code shown on their house? 9944, 9992, 7846, or 9798?
B, was it 9992?
Ding,
See,
ding, 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 ding.
I did know something. What 2023 Hallmark Channel rom com did the sculpture behind Oliver appear in? Was it A, Hearts in the Game, B, Dream Moms, C, Picture of Her, or D, The Wedding Cottage?
Oh, that's an easy one. The Wedding Cottage.
Correct.
Thank you to our friend Jan who pointed that out on Twitter
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank
because
you,
I
Jen.
knew I had seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
Just couldn't put my finger on the movie. But when she said it, I was like, oh, yes.
Yep.
And my last question, what is one poster we see hung up in Shane and Oliver's house before their third couples counseling session? Yosemite, Yellowstone, Crater Lake, or Grand Canyon? Now, of course, these are all national parks.
Mm. Was it Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Eh, I'm way off.
Grand Canyon. Which also maybe in a way could be a callback to the Miss Special Delivery pageant with
Right.
mules carrying mail down the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon. Yep.
Well, I think that wraps up our review of A Tale of Three Letters. What a great time this was.
Yes, I had so much fun, Nicole.
Yes.
That's like I said, I love the entire movie
Yeah.
and getting to review you. We always have a fun time.
Yes, I'm glad that you got to, and hopefully you can join me for To the Moon and Back whenever that
Yeah,
is.
I would love that.
Yeah. And a big round of applause to Eric, Kristen, Jeff, Crystal, Rhiannon, Linda, Lisa, entire cast and crew. And of course, Martha, too, who always knocks it out of the park with her writing. And Brandy Harkonnen, I think I said her name right, who co-wrote this movie.
Yes.
All right, Postables, I think that wraps up part 2 of our review of Signed, Sealed, Delivered, A Tale of Three Letters. If you enjoyed this episode, you can like this video and share your thoughts about it in the comments and any callbacks you may have caught in the movie. If you want to stay up to date on all of my episodes, you can subscribe to this channel and make sure to turn on the bell so you are alerted when new episodes come. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great day or night wherever you are in the world, and we will see you next time. We love y'all. Bye.
Bye, everyone.